Michael worked with Michael Bush for 31 years as a costume designer, but also loved fashion and design. And this time around, we brought in a wonderful new young designer out of New York named Zaldi. And both Michael Bush and Zaldi created all of Michael's new costume ideas.
I got a call from Travis and Christopher, and they said, "Oh, would you want to design some things for the Michael Jackson tour?" Which I, of course, said is not even a question. It's like, of course, I'll do whatever it is that you want. We had about 2 months to complete these outfits, you know, plus their doubles. So everyone was like, "Oh my God, you're crazy." And then, you know, as soon as I heard that they were from Michael, everyone was like, you know, we're gonna stop everything and do this for Michael. This was the opening look for the tour, where he was coming out of a 9-foot robot to start in something. I mean, the whole idea of the robot and space and everything, I mean, it kind of looks like a spacesuit, I guess. It's very futuristic. It's like a head-to-toe solid Swarovski crystal and lucite outfit. You know, there was like the shoulders and all the pieces, and the shoes were custom made. We had sunglasses that he was gonna wear as well.
Zaldi used crystals in ways that I've never seen before. The molds that he made for the crystals for the suit, and then the way he had the appliques for the crystal to go along with the twill of the fabric. Even Nadia Swarovski hasn't seen that. If Swarovski hasn't seen it, then the world hasn't seen it.
It may be the most Swarovski crystals that I've ever used in one complete look. 3 million individual crystals throughout the whole thing, or like 300,000, I can't remember, but there's a lot. But it's literally dipped in crystals, so I have no idea what this cost is. It's a lot, that's all I have to say.
There were millions of dollars worth of crystals designed especially for Michael's clothing. People would say that if you were going to go in and look at the work in progress, you had to wear sunglasses because the crystals bounced off so much light that you couldn't see the garment.
Like anything that's on the cutting edge of technology is what Michael's about. So, you know, I mean, that was just my task in my head. I was like, what can I bring him and how can I bring it in a different way? The shoulders were a last-minute thing. It's like they're not even in my final sketch. So, you know, and Michael kept saying, the shoulders are so important, you know, throughout the whole thing. So I just had an idea. I was like, let's make these huge. He looked at them, thought they were heavy, and then he picked them up, and he was so excited. He's like, they look heavy, but they're light. He was so happy because they're hollow. Michael's just defined so many iconic style moments that all it really needs to do is like use what he already has established and then just bring it into modern time, you know, like bring it up to date. He got to try the pants on and he got to try the shoulders on, which brought a huge smile to his face. This suit was going to be for the J5 medley. I wanted to do this sort of like a dip dye, where something that looked like a dip dye of bugle beads and some crystals and stuff like that. It's on the shoulders, and then we have it also on the waistband. For the shoes for this outfit, you know, Michael's like, I love spats, and I was like, for this one, let's do spats. So the original prototype for this outfit was a boot with the spats that were built in, but we found that they were too rigid. He was really hard to get into, hard for him to bend. So I decided, let's just take the loafer and we'll add a spat to it that's kind of very flexible, and we just come in from the back and slide into it like you're wearing loafers. A lot of the pants that I did have zippers all the way down the sides, so you know, they're easy to take off. For example, the shirt is just Velcroed up the back, you know, so no buttoning, no none of that stuff. This piece was for black or white. I wanted it to be kind of hard, you know, very strong kind of message. So I started to look into samurai outfits and kind of came across, I think. I guess it's pretty powerful because it is so heavy with studding, you know. I think it weighs about 10 pounds, you know, so it's kind of heavy. It was originally gonna close, and I thought, like, he's never gonna be able to get into unbuttoning the jacket. So I just was like, I like that, you know, and I showed it to him in a muslin, and he really loved it too.
It took 5 days to say, this is the way we want the studs placed, and then they sent that pattern to the leather guy, and the leather guy placed the studs. I don't know how long it took him. I mean, this stuff is very tedious and time-consuming, and had to have been done with a lot of love.
So the studding was pretty complete. It's like we went all the way down into studded loafers. And I was looking at his feet, and I was like, are those the same loafers that you've been wearing for like forever? And he's like, no, I have like 100 pairs of them. He's like, they're the only shoes that I can dance in. And I was just like, nobody's made you shoes before? I'm like, I am gonna make you shoes. And when I talked to the factory, I just said, they have to fit the exact same way on the inside. You know, he needs to feel like he's wearing his old loafers. I wanted to make sure that he didn't know he had a different shoe on. And we had one of Michael's shoes, and the factory in Italy, they're like, we do not want to do this, but can we please cut one of the shoes open so that we can make sure that the entire insides are fully analyzed and the fit is perfect. So that's what they did.
My brother, it don't matter if you're black or white. All right,
When Christopher and Travis asked me to think about dressing Michael, the first idea that I had was for Billie Jean. I kept the outfit pretty true to the original. You know, I mean, I had heard a story that the original jacket that he wore when he first did the moonwalk, he just pulled it out of his mother's closet. So we didn't want to stray away from the shape too much, but I just wanted to do a much smaller and refined sequined than the original. I was just thinking and thinking, and I was just like, God, wouldn't it be amazing if Billie Jean lit up the way that the sidewalk did in the videos? So I started to do tons of research, and I saw one thing, which was from Philips Technology, and they seem to be the most advanced in this field. So I called them, and of course they came back and said, we would love to work on this outfit with Michael and you.
Michael was always looking for the next breakthrough idea. He would send us out into the world and say, you know, come back with ideas. What new things are happening? I mean, the costume designers were working with scientists. There was new, you know, electronic technology woven into fabrics.
What's so amazing what Philips can do is like, it can do any RGB color that's on your computer, so a million different color, and any color combination, any pattern, any pulse, any kind of rhythm that you want it to have. And what was gonna happen first was the socks were gonna light up, and then it was gonna come up through the tuxedo stripe, and then it was gonna come up at another point through a stripe that we put through the jacket and underneath, and then come off into his glove. Basically, the way that you made it work was somebody had a remote control like you were playing a Wii game. And you could basically tell it to change colors to rainbow, or to be white, or to pulse, you know. And each piece works by itself, but can be controlled within one unit. You know, we had the option of it being programmed to the choreography or to do it manually. I know that his favorite part was when it went kind of like through a rainbow color and then just pulsed really bright, you know, like, so that was probably gonna be in there quite a bit. But, you know, there were moments where, you know, a light was in the sock and would like rapidly come up through the leg, through the jacket, and out through his hand, you know, like there's a gesture that he does when he kind of points up into the sky. I was really happy that Michael was able to try on the pants. He actually got to see them work, and we positioned him in front of the mirror. I turned him on, and he just stood there, and I kind of saw his mouth drop just a little bit, and then he was speechless. Like, he said nothing, and then Travis, you know, after a little while was like, well, what do you think? He's like, it's everything I've always wanted. He's like, it's everything I've always wanted, you know, and I was happy that I was able to bring that to him. I thought Thriller was going to be really easy to do, but it actually turned out to be the hardest one for me because it is such an iconic jacket, and I didn't want to take it too far away, but yet I didn't want it to be, I want it to be really fresh. I was looking at the quilting that's on that was on the shoulders, and I was just like, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do it. And I was just like, I know, I'll do blood. I'll just do like embroidered blood. And I told Michael, he's like, oh, I like it. These might have been one of his basic pants, which are another Swarovski crystallized pants with, I call them the germ mask pants, because I was like, Michael, do you mind? I'm like, I want to put a germ mask on your knee. You know, I'm like, you own that mask. Let's have more fun with it, you know, and he loved the idea. I was going to propose these red and black loafers, but, you know, we had also, you know, 3 different kinds of black loafers that he would be able to choose from. Michael got to see the t-shirt. I actually got to try it on with some of the outfits. It's the MJ logo again, but just in the outline of all the Swarovski crystals. One of the hidden secrets that I had from Michael too was a special lining for Thriller, which unfortunately he didn't get to see, but it is a Thriller wolf biting a Swarovski crystal, which I think he would have loved, you know.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love, and this place is much brighter than tomorrow.
This jacket was kind of going to be for any of the Heal the World, We Are the World, any of the like global songs. Everyone sort of had a sort of like a group idea of like, it needs to have like a real global feeling to it. And so I just started thinking, I'm going to do like beating from around the world is what's going to happen. This jacket actually contains, you know, sort of like all kinds of techniques from all different parts of the world. I wanted to try to build in some sort of bracelet ideas. You know, this is sort of like African beading here and on this side here, which kind of would have the look or the appearance of bracelets. We have sort of like a Chinese embroidery here and jeweled embroidery, which is typical from India. This kind of patchworking was sort of American Indian inspired, but it's all done in leather. This actually here says Heal the World in Arabic. What also is really important about this outfit is that these pieces are, they're metal, so they make a sound. They're all hand cut in India, and then they came back to America, and I plated them in America and then sent them back to India for them to put them on. I thought it was important that the front didn't have an opening, so I thought this would be easy to sort of like climb into, and you could have like 2 people, which she was gonna have all the time, help him dress, at least 2 people I would imagine. An overall feeling for Michael is the military. So, you know, it even has his band here done in beads and crystals. And then the overall shape was meant to be quite powerful, you know, with the built up shoulders. And I think because it's so high-necked and structured that it really has sort of like a regal military look to it.
If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make that change. Starting with the man in the mirror.
This is the finale jacket, which was going to be Man in the Mirror. And it was the one place where I thought, you know, we have to do a traditional Michael military look, but in kind of a new way. So I sort of came up with a little sample where we really just put layers and layers and layers and build up this kind of mass of Swarovski crystals. And I showed him this sample, and he was just like, oh, he was holding it up into light, just saying like, it's like a secret treasure, it's like a hidden treasure. And then the big surprise for him was that I sort of built them into this waistband, which really nobody really would see. You know, you get little glimpses of it. If you turn profile, you really wouldn't see that it was a heavily beaded jacket. It would just sort of be like a secret treasure that would be revealed. You know, there are secrets under here, the shoulders, which look just like kind of built up shoulders, but if you look inside, it's completely stacked also, as is the collar.
I thought the costuming for this tour was probably the finest costuming Michael has ever had. Of all the shows that I'd worked with him on, I was really excited. And they were kingly, and they were rock star, and classic, and it was quite a wardrobe.
It's a shame that people were not able to see his complete vision, you know, which would have been him in the outfits in the full staging of the shows. But, you know, with what we have, you can kind of piece together, you know, in your imagination what it would look like.